Welcome to a new episode of Puro Biz. We're here with Jay Manansala. He's a lender here in Colorado and also content creation, many things as we have to do these days. How's it going, Jay?
It's going well despite the rain. It's been an amazing day so far.
Nice, nice. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how do well, it was funny because you are also doing a podcast with top agents in the city, and I found that we have this kind of symbiotic, um, you know, creation, let's say, because you're doing something similar to what I'm doing. So I'm like, hey, let's reach out and let's kind of grow together.
Right.
So tell us, what are you doing now?
All right. So, you know, the whole podcasting was always an idea for me.
Okay.
It actually started a few years ago, and I just didn't know what to do, how to start. And in Hawaii, we have what they call Talk Story, and so
Okay.
basically, Talk Story is just me and you, just like the way we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're just having a conversation about life things,
Okay.
right? But I wanted to do that in front of an audience, in front of a camera,
Mm.
and my goal was to help or to inspire others.
Okay.
And so I bring in these real estate agents or small business owners and kind of do a deep dive on how they get from struggles to being successful at what they do.
Okay.
So that was the whole start of why I wanted to do the podcast in person.
Okay, and that's really interesting because I went to one of your sessions, I guess we can call it,
Mhm.
and it was like a lot of people behind the camera. And I'm like, hey, this is like for me, I guess it will be kind of hard just because there's so many things that you need to be checking on it, and then there's people, how you have an audience. Let's say you miss something, and then I don't
Yeah.
know. For me, it creates more pressure, right?
Right.
But I guess for you, it's also you are getting people into it, so you have that connection as well. Like people, you have the live audience, and then you have the people that watch you on the internet as well.
Yes. Yeah. So the key to that is knowing knowing what you want from the videographer, or like
Hmm.
knowing what you want the videographer to do. But for me, I got connected to, and I follow him. His name is Omar El Tukori. And
Okay.
that's where I got the whole idea of doing a video podcast in front of a live audience. And I just consume his content, and he gives such valuable information. So I
Mm.
can't take credit for it and say it was my creation. I got
Yeah.
it from Omar El Tukori. And I continue to watch him, his interview style, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it together. And
Okay.
so I got connected with a videographer and I say, hey, do you have this experience? Here's the kind of shots that I want. Here's how I want the footage. And that's how I got started on it.
Mm.
But it is a lot of work.
It is, yeah.
So
Yeah, the editing, like how you sit, and also coordinating. It's kind of hard. Like
mhm,
people are busy these days,
yeah.
so it's definitely hard. But the way I like to do the interview is that I like to see what you are doing right now, but I also like to have a step back
Mhm,
and like tell us how do you got here. Like you're a lender and you're also creating content and helping realtors create content and all of that. But how did you get from, maybe after high school, what made you, move to, because you mentioned you're from Hawaii. What made you come to Colorado? Like what has been your story, let's say?
Okay, yeah. So my wife and I, we met in California. And then we were both going to school in California. And then we went back to Hawaii. And from there, we lived in Hawaii for many, many years. And we also have family in California. And we
Okay.
were looking at California as a place to relocate,
Okay.
but it's so expensive. And then we had some friends from Hawaii that moved to Colorado. We visited them. And then we are like, oh, Colorado is a little bit more affordable. This was back in 2018. We ended up buying a brand new house while we were still in Hawaii.
Oh
So
wow.
we bought
Okay.
everything through an email and just FaceTime.
Dang.
And then
Okay.
that's how we made the move.
And
And then
what part of Colorado did you move to?
so we moved to Thornton,
Thornton.
because that's
Okay.
where, and we didn't know anything about Thornton. And
Uh-huh.
so we moved there because our friend said, just move to Thornton. And
Uh-huh.
that was the more convenient thing to do.
Okay.
And it worked out because my wife and I, we and our kids, we live a very active lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and it made sense because everything is within a mile radius of our house.
Okay.
I'm into sports. My kids are into sports. My wife is into walking around at different shopping centers, and so that's what we ended up doing.
Oh,
So
nice.
it worked out. But because some of the audience on here that may see this are real estate agents, so it wasn't the house that
Mm-hmm.
made us buy because you could always find a beautiful house,
Yes.
but it was the lifestyle. Like I said, everything was within a mile radius of all the
Mm.
things that were involved in our life, right? We didn't have the beach anymore. We had a swimming pool. The swimming pool is 2 minutes away from where we live.
Okay. And what part of Hawaii were you living at the time?
Honolulu.
Honolulu. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And how was the contrast coming from Hawaii to Colorado? Did you enjoy it, or you started to miss it once you moved in?
Uh, you know, Hawaii Hawaii is very different.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to see that here in Colorado where people are becoming more tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's aloha spirit in Colorado, especially in Denver and Boulder. In Hawaii, we live by what they call aloha spirit. You
Okay.
respect everyone,
Okay.
and everyone has respect. Everyone is always helping out each other. That's the community. And so initially, when we first got here, that's what I struggled with. It didn't have that aloha spirit to it.
Mm.
So that was the biggest adjustment for us. The weather was okay. We could deal
Mm-hmm.
with that. But again, it was just the aloha spirit. But now, we've been living here since 2018 and we're starting to feel that
Okay.
aloha spirit.
And do you miss the beach? I went to Honolulu once, and we drove. I don't remember what was that beach, but it's like 30 minutes, and it's very popular. What would
Oh,
that?
there's more. There's all the
Okay.
beaches are so popular over
Okay,
there.
okay. But yeah, it was like everything. Like you could go around the island for like everything is like 30 minutes away.
Yeah, the whole entire Oahu, the entire island without traffic is 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
yeah.
Okay. And
But it's gonna take you longer than 3 hours because you're gonna want to stop by this beach, that beach,
uh-huh.
So
Okay. And do you miss the beach or no?
I miss the beach when it's summertime here, when it's
Mm,
like 90 degrees, 100 degrees, because in Hawaii, the whole entire island is beach.
okay.
If we wanted to go swimming, we just have to drive maybe 5 minutes away and we're at the nearest beach,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So people think like, Jay, don't you miss the beach when it's wintertime? No, I actually don't mind that. It's hard when it's 100 degrees and you're inside
Uh-huh.
because, there's no water to
Yeah.
jump in.
Yeah. No, and I guess Colorado has a lot to offer that many people that are not into maybe activities don't realize it,
Mhm.
but there's hiking, mountain
Yes.
biking, everything. Like if you're looking into a sport, they're probably the best probably the best like amenity or like complex it's here in Colorado.
Yes.
Like I'm kind of into mountain biking. I'm like, where is the best downhill mountain bike park? And it's actually 1 hour and a half from here.
Yeah.
So it's insane, like, and many people may not realize that, but that's why it brings so many people into Colorado as well.
I agree 100%. It's
Uh-huh.
definitely a rich state with outdoor activities,
Mm-hmm.
so
Okay. And since you moved in 2018, how have you seen the growth of Denver, of Colorado? Do you like what you're seeing? Do you have your comments? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
I'm for growth.
Okay.
Um, and I know that might not be popular because in terms of real estate,
Mm-hmm.
people might get priced out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing a lot of people moving into states or areas that are a little bit more affordable.
Yeah.
Um, but Colorado is an amazing place. Denver is an amazing place. It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, um, Even just where I live in Thornton, they're building over 5,000 homes.
Wow.
So traffic is getting a little bit more crazier. Um, but I'm for growth.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
S-
Yeah, no, definitely. And one of the things is also, um, yeah, I lived in a little bit in on Evergreen, and there's definitely that part of the locals that don't want any growth Yes, I remember I was seeing signs. They were trying to build a mountain bike park
Mm.
inside of Evergreen, and a lot of signs were like, "Let's stop this project." And I'm like, this so cool. Like I want to build, you know.
Right.
So I was not supporting that idea, but actually after that, and recently I watched this show Yellowstone. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
um and it kind of shows you the other face of why people are, so attached to letting it be, because it creates more traffic,
Hmm.
like the lifestyle becomes less relaxed.
Hmm.
And I actually kind of understand what the other part of the story, but same as you, I'm for growth.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, do you believe in real estate investing? Do you think it's a good idea for somebody to buy a house, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, besides all the other benefits that come with it, like the financial benefits
Mm-hmm.
that come with being a homeowner, tax benefits, and generational wealth, um, I think if you're a young family and you're raising kids, I think it's more, there's a stability there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense of confidence. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
confidence is the right word,
Yeah,
meaning like, yeah, we live here.
like stability.
Yeah, it's
You can
stability.
kind of maybe project of where your family will go to. Like you have more control, I will think, right?
Correct. Yes. So that's the most important thing. Like when my brother bought, and this is in California, he bought his house years and years ago. And for many years, my parents just rented. They never owned
Mm-hmm.
because, they were never told, hey, there's benefits to buying a house, but they never rented. But my brother was the first person to buy a house. And when we finally moved in, there was just a sense of happiness, not because we move into a brand new house, but because like, hey, we get to be here. It's ours.
Mm-hmm.
We get to enjoy the backyard. We get to play the loud music if we want to. We could design our house however we want.
Yeah.
And I feel with me being a dad and having young kids and a wife, I feel like there's a sense of happiness of just being a homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it also gives you that safe zone as well, that you don't, like, you kind of maintain the same payment throughout the life of the loan, right? Like
Cool.
obviously taxes can change, and the insurance, but it's not gonna be like a huge portion than what you see when you're renting. Like
Correct.
after COVID, rent went super high and everything got so crazy.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, and coming from that as well, like what do you see, because you're from Hawaii, how do you see investing in Colorado versus Hawaii? Like if somebody is on the fence, or like maybe there's some people that say, oh, Colorado is not the right place. Maybe I would invest in Texas because houses are cheaper. Like, so
Hmm.
I
Okay. That's a very
that's
good.
what I've heard from people that I've sold houses to, or they're like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna wait until they go down in price, or I would invest in a different state.
Right. So Hawaii, very good question, by the way. Hawaii is a very unique place to be a homeowner or invest, right? One, it's the most remote island in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's paradise,
I see.
right?
Uh-huh.
I've never heard anyone that says, hey, I went to vacation in Hawaii and I hated it,
Uh-huh.
right? And three, there's not much land to build on.
Okay.
And in Hawaii, there's a lot of generational wealth that came from real estate. People who bought houses or homes 50 years ago, they're not selling those. They're
Mm-hmm.
being passed down from generation to generation. And so residents in Hawaii know that you don't need to push them to buy a house. They know the value. A house in Hawaii, in Oahu, could be $2 million, and you would look at it like that's a teardown,
Yeah.
but the land is worth 2 million.
Yeah.
People are buying the land,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's the reason why there's not a strong push or to try to get people, hey, buy a house. Here's the reason why. They already know the reason why to
Mm-hmm.
buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Colorado, some people, especially first-time home buyers, may struggle like, oh, I rather just rent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much homes.
Mm-hmm.
But really, a place like Denver, Boulder, and other places in around Denver, they're getting expensive
Yeah.
because people are starting to see the value. And there will be a point, and we're probably there now in certain areas of Colorado, where the land and the location is more expensive than the home itself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and definitely if you want certain type of um design or also location, you're not gonna find, like, let's say if you want to live in Wash Park, there's not gonna be a new build, like, a newer build construction near Wash Park at
Yeah.
10 minutes. It's gonna be like 30 minutes or 40 minutes from
Right.
it. So there's definitely locations that have always, maintain their price as well.
That's very true. I mean, when the financial crisis happened in 2008, Hawaii, some parts of Hawaii took a beating, but
Mm-hmm.
they recovered really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And Hawaii, Oahu is very unique because we have all the military bases there.
Okay.
And so in Hawaii, it's considered a high cost living. So the housing allowance for military folks that are coming into Hawaii, it's huge.
Okay.
So you could be an officer with a dependent and getting $4,000. So real estate agents are very smart. And they're saying instead of giving the $4,000 to rent, why not buy a house and gain equity? So a lot of people in Hawaii, they buy a house um, because of the stability, but also the ability to appreciate. Uh,
Mm,
equity appreciation is strong in Hawaii.
okay.
And that's the reason why a lot of foreigners, especially in the Asian countries, are investing in Hawaii. There's a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of condos or real estate in Hawaii that are never occupied
Mm-hmm.
because people from China, Korea, Japan, and other Asian countries, they're investing in Hawaii. They're
Wow.
parking their money there
Okay.
because appreciation there is strong.
And I've heard that if you buy a house, I don't know if this is true. I've heard it.
Yeah.
If you buy a house in Hawaii, you don't own the land if you're not a resident. They lease it for you for like 90 years. Is that true?
Well, no, that's so they have that here in Colorado.
Okay.
So you do own a home. Majority, so what they call it is leasehold.
Okay.
Okay, where it belongs to an estate, the land and the building, right? But that's very rare. There's still a few properties that are like that, but most
Mhm.
of it is what they call fee simple, which is here,
Okay.
right? So a lot of the affordable housing in Denver is like a 99-year lease,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, but most of the homes are fee simple, meaning
Okay.
that fee simple, you own the land and you own the house.
Okay, okay. And for anyone watching this and might be thinking of buying a house in Hawaii, is it the same process of buying a house in Denver or?
It is, I mean, it's pretty much the same process. The only difference is the closing period is a little bit longer. So, for example, here, you close today, you're closing it today, you can get the keys, right?
Okay,
In Hawaii, the way it works is you sign loan documents today, and
okay.
then 2 days after, the lender funds it. And then the next day or 2 days after, it gets recorded, meaning that's when you become the legal owner. So it could be a 4 or 5 day process.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And
different.
insurance in taxes, is it okay? Do you see it okay? Because I was in Florida for a little bit and the taxes, it was insane, and the insurance insane. Like I was paying almost like $20,000 in taxes and insurance a year, which
Yeah.
for here is like you have to have a really expensive house in order to pay that.
Oh, yeah. So the taxes there are pretty reasonable.
Okay.
I think Colorado probably has higher property taxes, but in Hawaii, you need to have hurricane insurance.
Okay,
So
which is probably expensive.
it is
Okay.
expensive, especially for single wall
Mm-hmm.
homes. Instead of like a lot of homes now are being built double wall, right?
Okay.
But a lot of the homes in Hawaii, they're single wall. So a lot of insurance companies are no longer insuring single wall houses.
Okay.
So
Okay. And then you were telling me that you are like very into content creation these days. You're like, pushing for it. You're doing your podcast. Um, do you feel people, well, this is a new era of businesses getting to know, getting, like people to know what you're doing with your business and stuff
right.
like that. Um, do you feel business owners need to pay more attention to content creation these days?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe if you're not a small, if you're not, if you're a business and you're not on social media,
Mm-hmm.
you're missing on a lot of opportunities, right?
Okay.
And because that's the new TV,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those are the new coupons. You know how you get mail coupons in the mail?
Yeah.
This is the way to do it now. Social
Okay.
media, right?
Yeah.
Reviews. Like, so for me, my wife and I, if we're checking out a new cafe or a new restaurant, I'm going through Google reviews,
Mm-hmm.
Yelp, and also Instagram because I want to see what that food looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to see like not an actual like a photo from the owner. You want to see what the guest
Yes.
experience, like the customer as well, right?
Yeah. And so you don't, and it doesn't always have to be like us looking at the camera right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even need anything expensive.
Yeah.
Let's just say, for example, if you're a roofer, you can go up there, put a phone on a tripod, take a 30-second video of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then teaching people what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That itself is branding,
Okay.
you know?
And what are some tips and tricks that you've learned from, putting this much effort into content creation like these days?
There's a lot. I mean, like I said, I'm not original when it comes to this. There's a few people that I learned quite a bit from. So, for example, the podcasting, when I
Mm-hmm.
first started, it wasn't like, hey, I'm doing this podcast and I'm going to start advertising it now.
Okay.
There was a lot of work behind before even the first one was planned. And I was already talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would go on my run and be like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I have this goal of doing a podcast, and here's the thing. So
Okay.
when I finally started doing it, people were already aware of it. Right.
Okay.
So, uh, like my coach, Neil, he always says, show the work,
Mm-hmm.
just show the work. And so that way, when you're ready to launch, people already know about it. Does
Mm,
that make sense?
I see. Yeah.
So, for example, if you're working on a new pastry recipe,
Mm-hmm.
instead of having everything ready to go and then you're having your videographer and photographer there, talk about it weeks ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so we're working on this new recipe, right? And we're
Mm-hmm.
going to launch it in the next couple of weeks. But let me tell you what's in it. There's lavender and it's organic, right?
Mm,
Start talking about it
okay.
way before you actually do something.
Yeah, and maybe show the real part of it. Like, hey, I'm struggling to get this dough
Yes.
to get to the perfect spot, and then and then you tell it, hey, I found that, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it's interesting. And also the engagement that you get from, I've talked to people that are really successful at owning a business and also having their Instagram, being connected with their people and the help they get from it. Like he was telling me he was moving to a new location and like he was telling me, hey, when I moved, I didn't have a truck and I just asked on Instagram, hey, who has a truck that can lend me to move all my equipment?
Mhm.
And like a bunch of people, message him to help him out. So it's a community thing and I think it's a new way to do business right now.
You're 100% right
Hmm.
about it because a lot of my connections are actually, I've met him maybe once or never met him. Larry, my videographer,
Uh-huh.
I met him. I never did any kind of session with him. I just met him once. I say, hey, here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm hoping to get, help on. And then we just set up. And since then, we have a flow. There's a guy in Nepal that I use, Raul. He helps me with graphics. When I'm promoting a class or a podcast, he does graphics for me. He's 10,000 miles away from me. Never met him.
Okay.
It's crazy when you're good at something
Mm-hmm.
and you're on social media, people will find you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a real estate agent and you're a lender and you're good at what you do, people will find you.
Okay.
I find people that's been
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
me.
Well, we found each other
Yeah,
through,
exactly.
yeah.
So I have another friend, Austin. He's in Las Vegas. We
Uh-huh.
met once at an event. And since then, if I have camera questions, like I'll reach out to him.
Mm-hmm.
But we only met once.
Wow. Okay.
But if, like I said, if I have a camera question right now, I go on Instagram. Hey, Austin, can you help me with this? Sure, let's jump on a Zoom call.
Okay.
It's crazy the connections that you made
Mm-hmm.
on social media world,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and the engagement is great because it helps you grow onto because we are on this end of the story and we have our goal, let's say. But when somebody comments and when somebody tells you, hey, you should interview this person, that helps you like drive the content somewhere where the
correct.
audience um kind of like drives you a little bit, and it helps you grow because you're showing what they want to see as well.
Correct.
So it's funny, like you have to have obviously be original in what you do, but also kind of let people engage with what you're doing.
Yeah, you got to let people in. But the mistake, I mean, I know you didn't ask me to, but the mistake that I see lenders and real estate agents make is they post the content.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of comments, but they're just doing the heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could do. It's like, why don't you engage with those
Yeah.
people? And I'm not an algorithm person, but
Uh-huh.
my understanding is that the more there's engagement in those comments, the more comments, it just keeps showing up into people's feeds.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're just throwing a fire, like a fire emoji, that's not enough. That's not engagement.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I
So
do agree with that. And going back to the lending side, what made you, choose the lending career, and like, do you like what you're doing in your career with the lending side?
yeah, so I got into mortgages back in 2006. I was actually working for Wells Fargo in San Francisco.
Okay.
And so when we moved back to Hawaii, I saw Wells Fargo on the yellow pages. And I called Wells Fargo thinking, because I was doing risk management back then, not mortgage related, not finance. And I
Okay.
was like, hey, this is my background. I really love working for Wells Fargo. She's like, well, we're a mortgage here, but I think you should come in for an interview. So I ended up doing mortgages.
Uh-huh.
Like most people, they jump into real estate or mortgage without planning to be in
Uh-huh.
that career, right? I do like it. I enjoy it. I love the math.
Mm-hmm.
I love the problem solving. I love helping the clients, but I get, I find joy in dealing with numbers,
Okay.
which is weird because I'm not good with public math.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me what's 10 times 10, I don't know what it is, right? But if you ask me how to get the debt to income ratio down, I,
Mm-hmm.
I love that part.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, some people don't realize that kind of the part of their job is not what it's more, let's say, from the outside, the simplest thing that you think it is. Like, let's say a lender needs to be good at math, and it might not be true. Like,
Yeah.
the other day I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, kind of calculate my commission. He's like, is this, you're in real estate, you should know this. And I'm like, like, as being a realtor is not much about numbers. It's actually, finding a client, helping them
Right.
find the right house. It's not much. Well, obviously there's numbers involved, but I don't have to be knowing everything off the top of my head.
Yes.
We have other tools for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I wanted to create this podcast as well because I feel there's this feeling, and I don't know if you're feeling it from the lending side, that Colorado is becoming too expensive, because it might be, and you can guide me through this. It might be the lifestyle that people are wanting to portray, or they have too many activities that they're like putting money towards. But let's say recently I've been going to run clubs, and I talk to people. I'm like, oh, I'm in real estate, and they're like, oh, I wish I could buy a house right now. So, and I know, like, for a fact, they are probably engineers. They
Mhm.
make good money.
Mhm.
But if for the generation, like, let's say millennials and Gen Z, they see it so far ahead.
Meaning like there is the dream of owning a home is a challenge for a lot of them.
It is, yeah.
It can be, and I could see why. It's because they're on Zillow,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking at homes when they're free, and then they look at the mortgage payment on a calculator on a Zillow website, and it's like, oh, that's way too much. But those aren't the real numbers for you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then two, like there's plenty of affordable homes still in Colorado. You may have to compromise. Maybe you may have to add 20-minute commute to your commute to work.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, sacrificing, right? But if
Yeah.
it's long term, like to me, real estate should be long term. If you
Mm-hmm.
know you're gonna be living in Denver for a year, then yeah, rent.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna be here long term, owning a home is totally worth it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it means having to, like I said, extend your commute for 20, 30 minutes, live in a house for 2 years, gain some equity, let's leverage some of that equity and then move into the house that you really want to, or the location that you want to live into.
Yeah, and also, obviously, owning a nice house is gonna be more expensive than
Mhm.
renting a one-bedroom apartment. There's no, there shouldn't be a comparison between those two, right?
Yeah.
And I guess they have to be committed to make that payment. But what do you see? Um, I know there's the face of real estate that say, hey, you're gonna be paying this much, let's say $4,000 a month into a house, and that's gonna be you're gonna be paying that house, which in fact is not completely true. You're paying interest, you're paying insurance.
Mhm.
There's many things, but you have to be committed to that payment. How do you? What advice would you give somebody to thinking about doing that leap, or just I'll just stay in my $2,000 per month apartment.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm not one to try to convince people. For me, it's like, what is it that you really want? All
Mm-hmm.
right. Do you want to just continue to pay rent? And because look at it, the person who you're renting from, they're making money off of you. All
Yeah.
right. And so, do you want stability in your life? Do you want to come home and say, I own my own home? That to me, that those are important things. Yeah.
Okay.
If you go into an open house and the house feels right and you get your mortgage lender to do the numbers for you, take that leap.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that it's important to, even if you're doing 100% financing, I think it's very important to have some money aside, because owning a home in a cold state like Colorado does cost money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tell people, great, you could do 100% financing, but at least have 3 to 6 months worth of mortgage payments, because as you know, furnaces are expensive,
Yeah.
right? Colorado, I think in Colorado, real estate is getting expensive, but there's still affordable areas. But where for a lot of people, they don't understand the cost of maintaining a home in Colorado can be
Mm.
expensive.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good advice. One thing that they could also do is get a home warranty, and that could help them. Just make sure it's a good company. Just
Mhm.
like, because some of them gets stuck into like claims and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah, I know this. For me, we ran into this 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
where we bought a brand new house thinking everything is good. Though we've been at the time that it happened, it was 6 years. Our water heater failed,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it caused a flood.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm trying to drop off my kids at school. My wife is going crazy because, like, we didn't expect this to happen.
Yeah.
And so we called a plumbing company. They could see that we're in a frantic situation here. We got upsold a tankless water heater. Instead of spending $4,000, we ended up spending $10,000,
Oh, no way.
right? Because
Wow.
one, we just wanted to get the thing fixed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not the plumber's fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is those things that you got to be prepared for
Mm-hmm.
financially.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I guess with the good thing is that we have ChatGPT now, and
Yes.
we can ask all type of questions. So I would advise people that if you're like on the fence of something like that happen, just check with ChatGPT and make sure that you're not being upsell on that.
Yeah, it is. It's very important to know the cost of maintaining a home,
It
right? Because
is.
that's one thing. It's hard because if you don't have the money
Mhm.
to get a new water heater or get the furnace or the AC, that's hard.
Yeah.
So great that you could buy a house, but also keep in mind the cost of maintenance, and that shouldn't be a discouragement, because
Hmm.
over time the appreciation of home is worth more than spending a few $1,000s on
Yeah,
maintaining a home.
yeah. I was creating this series on Instagram and TikTok, and I was showing like from the first time I sold the house,
Yeah.
how much it costed to my client, how much I put down, and how much it costs now. And it's funny, it created like a bunch of comments, and they're like, "Oh, I would have invested on Bitcoin, and I would have this much money." And it's funny because actually made the math, and a lot of my clients, but with the first time home buying program, and they actually got a down payment assistance. So their payment was like super, super low, like
Mhm.
let's say less than $10,000,
Yeah.
a house that costed them like $200,000. And now it's like for the double of that.
Yes.
And that's crazy. Like you only paid $10,000, you had a place to live, and now it's worth double. So if you're selling it, you are getting like at least $200,000. And people are still complaining that that wasn't a good investment, you know?
Yeah, it's ridiculous when I hear people talking about that. And a lot of times people like they've not even inquired about it. They not even started the process. So I know you didn't ask me this, but I have a friend
Hmm.
in Hawaii.
Okay.
He bought 90,000, believe it or not, there's $90,000 condos, but this is back then, it's
Okay.
maybe 20 years ago. He
Wow.
bought $100,000 studio condos in Hawaii, multiple.
Hmm.
And basically he kept leveraging the equity and now he owns homes that have millions of dollars value to them.
Wow. Just by
Yeah.
starting with condos, and then what did he do? Did he change did he sold the condos and bought?
Yeah, he was just buying condos, using the equity, using the HELOC, and saying, "Okay, I want to buy this condo." He was single at that time. He puts 5% down. Boom, he rents it out or he sells it. Because again, in Hawaii, appreciation keeps going up really fast, right?
Okay.
Now he owns multi-million dollar homes in Hawaii,
Wow.
right? And he came from a poor family,
Wow.
and he was a
Okay.
lender like me,
Uh-huh.
but he was so focused and he knew the strategy, and there was no secret to the strategy. There was no secret.
Yeah.
It was just, let me buy this condo for 100,000, live in it for 2 years, take 5% off, buy the next condo, and he just kept doing that until he got enough money to buy $1 million homes.
That's insane. Do you have any programs on the lending side that people might not know? I know there's a lot of doctors actually get a really nice program because does that it's still going on. I remember in COVID it was a big thing.
Mhm.
Do you have programs like that that you like to, maybe professionals take advantage of that?
Yeah, so we have doctor programs, and I think a lot of lenders do. And I'm not one to kind of talk about mortgage, as you know. I'm
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
I do really great in mortgage, but the one thing that separates Elevations Credit Union from a lot of lenders is we have the ability to do what they call portfolio loan, which is very unique. We take very unique situations of clients, and we ask ourselves, is this a risky client? Is this a risky loan if we give them the loan and don't? So, for example, let's just say you're a W-2 employee,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you became a real estate agent. And maybe your first year you did quite a bit, right? But you don't have 2 years employment history. We'll actually look at your situation and say, well, Alberto has this much money in reserves. And yeah, he left his W-2 position. He doesn't have stable income, but his contract in business did really well. Can we give him the money? All right, we can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we do a lot of portfolio lending here. A lot of it is when clients don't have stable income, but then they have lots of reserves,
Okay.
and we don't sell those to like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just say this outright. If you're a real estate agent in Colorado and you haven't given Elevations an opportunity to help you, you're missing out,
There
right?
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just wanted to put out there. I'm not one to really pitch programs and
No,
stuff, but
definitely. That's very interesting. I
yeah.
actually have a client that is struggling with it, so I'm just gonna have her reach out and see if we can do something with
Yeah.
it.
For example, non-warrantable condos. Almost every condo in Denver is non-warrantable,
Mm-hmm.
right? But here we're closing them with 5% down.
Wow. Okay.
There's a lawsuit, litigation. We'll analyze it, we'll observe it, we'll look at it, and if it makes sense for not just for us, but for the homeowner, we'll do it.
Okay.
you know and so we do a lot of what they call at Elevations, we do a lot what they call rescue loans. And what that means is if another lender who initially is working with a client screwed up,
Mm-hmm.
they come and look at what we could offer them, and a lot of times is we could find a spot for them here, or we could
Okay.
find a home for them here.
Okay. Well, I think that was very good information
Yeah.
from Jay. If you have anything, like if you want to create content in the real estate, well, in anything, right? You're working with businesses as well, um, podcasts, and also lending. Jay, it's super open. Just give him a call or send him a message, and he will definitely answer you right away.
Yeah.
And yeah, we are here to help each other out. And you were mentioning that you have to tell your goals. I have a goal of getting to my 100 episode, maybe not this year, but at some point. So yeah, any business that wants to do a podcast, collaborate. We're here to help you out as well.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for, I appreciate it. It's the content game has changed a lot for me. And I enjoy it very much. Obviously, you enjoy it very
Yeah,
much, but it allows creativity,
it does. Yeah.
and it allows you to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why. Do we have time to?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have
Go
time
ahead.
to explain?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So the reason why I got into the social media game is
Okay.
because for many, many years, all I did was, as a lender, you visit open houses,
Okay.
right? And you beg realtors to go out to lunch with you and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so 3 years ago, I did more open houses and I'm like, man, I'm going home. I'm fed up. I don't want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I just felt like wasted of time. I'd rather spend a summer day hanging out with my wife and kids. And so I started doing videos here and there.
Okay.
Did Bomb Bomb, you ever heard of Bomb Bomb?
I think, is that something to send videos through email?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I started joining at Elevations, I started selling, instead of emailing my clients and realtors update, I started doing videos.
Okay.
Instead of like, hey, here's what happened with your appraisal report. And then I started getting into social media a little bit. And then I said, okay, I'm not going to do open houses Saturday. I'm going to go into my office, film a video, and I got 500 views on it. Right?
Okay.
To me, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I sit at an open house or I go to an open house. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get 2 people in the open house.
Right.
And then that's when I started getting into it. And initially, I started doing content for the sole purpose of getting clients. And that happened. It was hard. It took a while. It happened. And then I started learning some of the technical stuff, how to film, how to set up your camera, how to edit a little bit. And then I was like, well, I'm going to start teaching this to real estate agents.
Okay.
And then that's what happened. And it opened up so many different opportunities. And so I'm working now, not just posting content, but also helping how to create lead magnets, how to get people from this step 1 to step 2.
Okay.
And it's not just home buyers, not just clients, but now it's real estate agents, lenders, insurance people.
Mm-hmm.
And so been an amazing journey. I'm not nowhere near where I want to be,
Yeah.
but just keep showing up.
No, it's completely fair, and I've seen that as well. There's people that the content creation comes so easy. So I was mentioning to you this behind cameras that I was looking for a lender to collaborate and like create more real estate focused content. And my idea behind me, I'm like, okay, I need to find a generational Z because they are like, it's ingrained in them. Like they are always posting what they're eating. It's like, and it's they have a good audience because it's so natural for them.
Yes.
Instead of us, it's more like we need to build a muscle.
Yes.
But it's hard, like I think Generation Z is not doing loans.
Yeah.
Like, do you recommend lending as a career?
I know. I think you should.
Okay.
Right. But I think if you're a source of business, and for me, my majority of my source of business are from real estate agents.
Uh-huh.
And I posted a story about this morning where it's not just about rates and programs and how fast you can close now. So for me, my next challenge is for real estate agents like you is how can I get my referral partners in front of more people, right? And then how do I get these people to use you as a real estate agent? That's the next thing that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because I do appreciate realtors. I know how it is. A lot of real estate agents are dads, moms.
Yeah.
They have kids, they're driving around. I get that.
Yeah.
I see my wife, she's not a real estate agent, but she works from home. She's picking up kids, she's cooking, she's preparing dinner, she's cleaning and all that stuff. And I try to help out as much as I can. And I know that's how real estate agents are.
Yeah.
They have to run multiple positions, right, in a
Yeah.
household. And so for me, it's like, how can I give that? How can I give back to them?
Mm-hmm.
But
No, it's definitely that. I think a lot of businesses rely on somebody like a realtor that brings them business, but some of them don't realize the value that they're providing, and a little bit of effort behind it, it would also like help a lot. Like
yes, it does.
it does, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm learning a lot about the marketing. It's not just posting content. I'm learning about the psychology of people and also communicating. That's
Mm-hmm.
important, right? How do I communicate this information in a 20-second video,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so we talked about it earlier. A good book for everyone to read is called Smart Brevity.
Okay,
You know,
which I'm gonna read
yeah, I
soon.
have a copy for you. I'll give it to you Wednesday. But yeah, the content game is, if you're a lender or a real estate agent or insurance and your title, and if you're thinking, I'm going to post content just to get clients, it's a totally different world. You're going to have connections, relationships. There's people all over the world that's going to be helping you, and you've never met them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the communication is just through DMs.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm experiencing right now. And
Mm-hmm.
right. And for me, I'm not a gatekeeper. I always reach out to lenders like, hey, if you need help with this, let's do a one-on-one session,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, it surprised me sometimes that there's lenders that make a lot of money, and you try to check them out on Instagram, and they're not even existing.
Uh,
So I guess, but yeah, it's changing. It's changing fast, and I think the business that are succeeding and like kind of like quickly getting their into what they wanna become, it's through social media.
yes. Like what you're doing, guarantee you, not many real estate agents or lenders are doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Your group of people or your cohorts are small businesses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And guess what? A lot of small businesses don't do advertising. They don't do marketing.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're inviting people to be here in front of a camera and then you're posting that for them, that's opening up opportunities for them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
what you're doing is amazing, and I think you should just go all in on it. So, but yeah, when it comes to content and marketing, just go all in,
Yeah.
and I have every reason not to do content. I stutter,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes I don't even answer the question the right way. And when I'm filming a 30-second educational video, it takes me 12 to 15 takes.
Yeah.
But I'd rather do that than sitting at an open house for 3 hours, not having an engagement with
Yeah.
anyone.
And it makes you also original in the sense that you are trying to do something different than the masses. Also, like, for me, I'm like, okay, what for me, it's a very big part of my how do you say, like, integrity, or the person that I wanna become to. Like, I wanna do whatever I can to be better, but at the same time, I wanna be original on what I do. I wanna be a little bit different. I wanna offer more value.
Yes.
So I guess if you have an idea, just push for it, because you never know when an idea would, it's gonna explode. And different makes, being, I heard from Grant Cardone, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but he was like, hey, if you go into a meeting, try to dress up more than the people there. Just
Yeah.
people, if you're the one in the same in the crowd, nobody's gonna notice you.
Right.
So you're just one of the masses.
Yeah.
So
No,
uh,
it's important that you do that. But yeah, just there's no perfect time to do
mhm,
something. If there was a perfect time, if I was waiting for perfect time, I wouldn't be doing podcasts.
yeah.
Seriously, because there's never a time that I'm 100% ready.
Hmm.
And for me, I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna learn along the way. And that's the only message that I have for people who's gonna watch this, who are gonna be into the content business or content game, is there's never a perfect time to start.
Yeah, just do it, and everything will come into pieces as you go. Huh?
Yeah, it's very true. So I appreciate you doing this. I think it's great,
Thank you, Jay.
and just continue to push it and show the value, because there's a lot of value in video.
Yeah, and one of the things that I also like wanted to show is, like, we see a lot of content being created for these massive companies, Facebook, Instagram, you
Hmm.
see it. But it's inspirational, obviously, but at the same time, I feel it's so out of reach sometimes. So I wanted to showcase as well, like, people that are doing well, like, what are they doing different, people, businesses that are very famous in Denver, how do they become famous? And that's very interesting to me, like, knowing where I live, and then my neighbors, what are they doing to, to be successful.
Yeah, trying to extract that information from people that achieve high level of success.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good guests to put on a podcast,
Yeah.
because they're gonna tell you, yeah, it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was like, what made you go from struggling and making a decision to say, I'm not gonna give up? And then what was the turning point? You know,
Yeah.
what was that moment that changed for you? And I
Yeah.
guarantee you, it was just a small adjustment,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and it was just small mindset adjustment. So
Yeah, and just I guess keep doing it.
yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you though,
Yeah.
how are you reaching out to these business owners to do the podcast? Like, how do you say, okay, here's this business owner. Like, do you look into their story first?
I do. I kind of go with somebody that I kind of like I kind of um appreciate, like I see their work and I like it. And at the same time I just go at it like let's say the owner from Reunion, Ismael. I went I saw him at his he does he does the farmers market, and he was
Oh,
at the farmers market. I'm like, hey bro, how's it
yeah,
going?
yeah,
Let's go. And he's like, let's do it.
yeah.
I had Yvette. She's hi Yvette. She's a content creator, Mexican. She does Mexican recipes. She has a couple of books out. She has like 60,000 followers on Instagram and like hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook. And I'm like, I sent her a DM. Hey, you do great recipes. I would like to share your story with, in my podcast. She like,
Hmm.
come next week to my house.
Yeah.
And it's been like that. And for you as well, I saw you, doing your podcast. I'm like, hey, this really relates to what I'm doing as well. So I wanted to connect and.
What made you choose long form versus, I mean, I know you do short form, but it seems like your primary is long form, which is the podcast. What made you choose that over short form?
Long form, I think it's more natural.
Okay.
We do this, but after this, I feel then like what we do is so natural that there's great clips behind it.
Hmm.
And it's so easy to, like kind of portray your person. And at the same time, if you, it's hard when you're recording a clip
Correct.
and like, hey, let's show, I don't know, if I have a business owner, let's show your business. And they're like kind of nervous, instead of this, having a conversation of what they do good, and like other things can come after it. But I
Yes.
like this part of like, you know, connecting and, sharing their story. Everyone has an interesting story to tell.
Hmm.
Everyone, and I believe everyone in the world has like an interesting story to tell. Like if you one day want to write a book, I'm sure with it, if you find the right tools, your story can be very successful.
Yeah.
It's just the way you tell it, and the storytelling, it's really a big part of it as
No,
well.
it's true. And then, just for those people that are watching, there was not much preparation between us. This
Yeah,
is
no.
a totally unscripted conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave me a list of questions. I looked at them briefly. I'm like, okay. But, people, there's an audience for this conversation.
Yeah.
There's an audience for it. So keep posting. I like that. I like the fact that you're doing long form because I think YouTube is where it's at.
Yeah.
And I don't have a huge YouTube presence, but I'm slowly working there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've seen some of the people how they benefited from it
Yeah.
on the personal brand side. So
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jay, for
yeah,
the
no, that was
interview.
awesome. Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Please subscribe, send your comment, and anything that you want from us, you can reach out. All our information is going to be below. Thank you so much.
All right. Cool, man. Thank you.
No,
Did
you're
I
welcome.
talk too much or did I talk too fast?
No, I think that was perfect.
Okay, good.